The state between waking and asleep is called hypnagogia. But I'm gonna be real, I don't know how to pronounce that shit, and I actually searched up like 5 YouTube videos on hypnagogia to see how they pronounce it, and they all had like different pronunciations and shit like that. And I even watched one of those 5 second videos how to pronounce hypnagogia, and they were all ass. So I don't know if I'm saying it right, but all it is the state between waking and asleep. So hypnagogia is like, I don't know if you've had this thing where you're falling asleep and then you'll start kind of like hallucinating, or maybe you see like flashing lights or some shit like that, or your like muscles jerk suddenly. I mean, that's not an hallucination, that's probably actually happening, but like it's the same thing. It's a hypnagogic hallucination when you're falling asleep and you have all this weird stuff happening. I don't know if you've had that. You probably have had that before because it's pretty common. You know when like motherfuckers talk about they feel like they're falling before they sleep or something like that. And sometimes you'll have this thing as well where you wake up in the middle of the night and your brain just starts like fucking schizo ranting, bro. Your brain just starts like yapping some random shit when you wake up in the middle of the night or something like that. I don't know if you've had that before, but that's what a hypnagogic hallucination is. And I had that last night actually because my sleep's pretty bad. My sleep's kind of stuffed. So I woke up last night and my brain just started fucking yapping, and it was like my brain started writing a book. It's like, I know that kind of makes no fucking sense. Like it's really weird when these hypnagogic hallucinations happen, but it was like my brain just started writing a book for like 10 minutes, and at the time when it was happening, it didn't even seem weird. Like it started writing a book about like some girl, and it started writing all these details and shit. It kind of like sounds retarded. It doesn't really make sense now that I'm saying it, but like that's the kind of stuff that happens in hypnagogia or whatever. It's just these weird hallucinations. And interestingly enough, there was a study that I think Stanford did, I'm pretty sure, that showed hypnagogia was very similar to REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. And this is kind of strange because rapid eye movement sleep, REM, is like when you're having all your dreams, right? And you kind of need to sleep for at least 3 hours to enter the first stage of REM sleep. So you don't actually really have dreams when you first go to bed. You kind of need to sleep for a few hours. That's why a lot of like lucid dreaming techniques involve waking up like several hours after sleeping, because that's when you have your dreams. So it's interesting that these studies show that hypnagogia is very similar, almost the same as REM dreams. Like if you look at what's happening in the brain, hypnagogia is like the same exact thing. But the difference is that in hypnagogia, you don't have to wait for several hours to enter it. You can literally just fucking enter it before sleep, or in the middle of the night, or in the day when you're napping. Like you don't have to sleep for a certain amount of hours to enter hypnagogia. You can enter that shit at any time, but for some reason it's like the same as dreams according to these studies. So that's actually very useful because hypnagogia can be used for like creativity and shit like that. Because you know, like a lot of people use dreams to like help solve problems and get creative ideas and stuff like that. Just like me, like waking up last night and writing a fucking book. Like in the middle of the night, my brain was just writing a book and it didn't even seem weird. That's the kind of stuff that you can use hypnagogia for. And I don't know if this is bullshit. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of this either, but I was reading about that Thomas Edison guy. Maybe you've heard of this. He was like, he invented the light bulb, I'm pretty sure. Thomas Edison, you know that dude, that old guy who invented the light bulb. I don't know. I don't know if this is bullshit, but apparently he only got 4 hours of sleep a night because like he was always up inventing shit, like doing all that invention type shit. So he only got 4 hours of sleep. And so he had a bunch of naps in the day to like make up for that 4 hours of sleep. And when he took these naps, he like held a ball in his hand or some shit. So every time he started falling asleep, he dropped the ball, and like it suddenly jolted his brain awake or something. So then he was aware during hypnagogia or hypnagogia. I don't know how to pronounce that shit once again, bro. I keep forgetting how to pronounce hypnagogia or whatever. But that's the thing Thomas Edison did. He like jolted himself awake during naps, and so he used hypnagogia to like get ideas for inventions and like get creative ideas and shit like that. So this is good because I've actually done this a lot, and it's not as difficult as it seems to get these hypnagogic hallucinations. In fact, it's much less difficult than doing something like lucid dreaming. And as I said, you can get these hypnagogic hallucinations at like any time. You can get them during the day, like when you're having naps, or you can literally just do it before bed as you're falling asleep. It is similar to kind of like lucid dreaming techniques in that all you need to do is start falling asleep, but kind of retain some awareness as you're doing that. And this will take some practice. I'm not like saying you're gonna master this on your first night. I mean, maybe you will, because honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you can enter hypnagogic hallucinations and become aware of them the first night. That wouldn't surprise me because it's not as difficult as lucid dreaming. But still, it'll take some like practice to master completely and get down, right? So all you need to do to get these hypnagogic hallucinations is like just start falling asleep normally, but kind of like retain some awareness as you're doing that. So you need to kind of watch what's happening behind your eyelids, or just watch your thoughts. Just watch your thoughts as you're falling asleep, and you'll probably like lose consciousness eventually and forget what you were doing and just sleep normally. But after a while of practicing this, you'll kind of get better at staying aware as you're falling asleep. And then you'll kind of enter into these hypnagogic hallucinations when your brain just kind of starts firing off and just yapping random fucking shit, right? Like as I was saying, it just starts writing a book, or it just starts like saying some weird shit that makes no sense at all. But over time, you'll just get better at staying aware when this is happening, if you're kind of watching your thoughts as you're falling asleep. And at first you'll like enter these hypnagogic hallucinations and you'll be aware of them, but you won't really be able to do much because you'll wake up if you kind of try and interfere in it. But as you get better at staying aware and entering these hypnagogic hallucinations, you'll be able to kind of influence what's happening in them. Once you master the balance that you need when you're falling asleep, you'll be able to like kind of change the direction where the hypnagogic hallucinations are going, if that makes sense. So for now, me, since I have a lot of experience with these hypnagogic hallucinations and I kind of know how to enter them pretty well because I'm kind of good at staying aware as I'm falling asleep, I can kind of pay attention to these hypnagogic hallucinations and pay attention to my mind just fucking schizo ranting and yapping, and I can kind of choose to influence it. Like I can kind of be like, okay, I need some YouTube ideas to save my channel from like the 7th fall off, right? I like last night I was like, okay, I need YouTube ideas. So I can just kind of influence that and start thinking about YouTube ideas. And since my brain is just kind of yapping by itself, I just need to give it that little thought. I just need to plant that little seed of, I need YouTube ideas. And then my brain just starts automatically generating fucking YouTube ideas, like as I'm falling asleep. You know what I mean? Like you have these hallucinations where your brain's yapping and doing its own thing. But if you get the right balance and master kind of not waking yourself up, but at the same time being aware while it's happening, you can influence it and kind of choose the direction in where your brain is fucking yapping. You know what I mean by that? Like, I don't know if this makes sense. Let me know if this makes sense. I'm probably not putting it in a like good way. I probably should have worded this better. But yeah, once you just practice this, you'll be better at influencing the hallucinations. And this can also be very useful for dream incubation, which is just choosing what to dream about. Because I've realized this a lot when I'm aware in the middle of the night or before I go to sleep, even when I'm aware of these hypnagogic hallucinations, I find that if I influence the hallucinations towards a certain thing, I'm very likely to dream about that, if you know what I mean. Like if I'm having a hypnagogic hallucination about like playing a fucking video game or something, and my brain's just like automatically playing this video game before I go to sleep, I find it very likely that I will dream of that video game a few hours later, if you know what I mean. So if you can influence these hypnagogic hallucinations, you can really get better at kind of controlling what you dream about and inducing lucid dreams as well. Because this is a known thing that people who are good at reaching this hypnagogic state and staying aware of it really have a much easier time entering a lucid dream. So yeah, anyways, I just thought that was kind of cool. And I think Stanford actually, once again, made some device to like induce hypnagogic hallucinations. I didn't look into it, but they made like a glove or some shit. I don't know how the fuck that works, but they made a glove that like somehow induces hypnagogic hallucinations by kind of waking your brain up a little as you're entering this state or something like that. I don't know, but this is interesting because it's not like lucid dreaming where you have to wake up in the middle of the night and sleep for a few hours and blah blah blah. You can literally just try and enter the hypnagogic hallucinations tonight before you go to sleep, or if you nap in the day, you can just try and do that shit. And so it's not even something you need to put like a lot of effort in. You'll just get better at it with like trying to do it like 5 minutes a day or something. You know what I mean by that? So I don't know. I thought that was cool. Use your hypnagogic hallucinations to like give me YouTube ideas, please. But like, I don't know. You can use it for anything, bro. Like you can use it to get ideas. You can just use it to look at your brain's yapping and see what your brain is schizo ranting about. Join the Discord. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.